Good morning, friends. I hope you're having a great day and it continues throughout the day. Today, I'm going to share about a unique experience for not just me, but other kids in the small town that I grew up in. Remember, I said it was in like a farming area and there were lots of farms. Well, there were a lot of Amish there as well. And when we were going to school, they didn't have their own schoolhouse at that time. So they went to school with us. So we had lots of experiences with the children. And of course, in a small area like that, you get to know people and people get to know you. And they are very interesting and they are very friendly and they are very nice. Now, I don't know what sect these particular Amish were because they do have different rules and they do have different sects. And um, so I can only tell you about the people that I grew up with, and it could have changed by now. I mean, that's, you know, 60 years. Well, maybe not quite that much, but it's a long time ago. So anyway, as I said, they did go to school with us, and the girls always had to have their hair covered, and they wore the long dresses, and they wore these little bonnets with the strings hanging down. For some reason, they didn't like to tie their strings. I don't know if that was a rebellion or what, but they usually didn't tie their little bonnet on. And then they would wear like these beautiful capes and then a bigger bonnet if it was cold. Um, to go outside or to go home or whatever. And they always packed their lunch. They didn't buy a lunch. And they always had like these fantastic lunches with all this great homemade food. I mean, Amish food is really good. If you get a chance to try it, I highly recommend it. But anyway, so we went to school with them. We didn't think anything of it really. I mean, they dressed a little differently, but they could speak. I guess it was like Pennsylvania Dutch and German together. I'm not quite sure. They had a different language than we spoke. So, one of the things I did learn from them was how to swear in German. Now, I'm not going to say the swear words, but we were able to uh, learn that from them. And we just thought that was very titillating, to know how to say some of these things. Not bad. They were just the like little simple things, but um I still use the one sometimes because I feel like I'm not swearing, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so, and another thing, I remember the boys used to turn their eyelids inside out and then look at us and blink, and it would like just freak me out. And of course, that was the whole intention for, us to be squeamish and squeal or whatever. And I guess that was their way of flirting, perhaps. Um, but we were always really good friends, and they were very nice and good sports, and they were good at sports too, which was a shame because they don't go past the seventh grade, or at least they didn't then. Now I don't know if things have changed, but they didn't have to go to seventh grade if they didn't want to. And I remember correctly, if you wanted to be a teacher, you went to the eighth grade because you didn't need to learn anything past that because the kids didn't go to school past that. Now that could be different today, but that's how it was then. And I remember one time one of the girls, fair, gorgeous girl, excuse me, we were in the restroom and somebody asked if they could see her hair. Now, that's a big no-no. We weren't supposed to be, they're not supposed to show off their hair because it's vain. And that's why they wear real plain clothes and everything. But she was a brave one, so she took her bonnet off and let her hair down. Oh my goodness, she had the most gorgeous hair. It was like flax and blonde. Like what today everybody tries to pay big bucks to get hair to look like that. Just so beautiful. But one of the other girls found out she did it and she told, and that girl got in trouble. I mean, big trouble at home for doing that because they kind of monitor each other. But also, I don't know if you know that, like when they turn 16, they have this thing called Rumspringa, and they're allowed to do all the things that the English, that's what they call us, the English, they're allowed to go out and do the different things that, we do before they decide to join the church. Because I think it's when they're 18. In some sects, that it's when they are ready to get married, they join the church ahead of time because they get married young. So they go out and do these things and they can go travel. I mean, a lot of them leave and go to like California or Florida or different things and work and get cars and all the stuff they're not supposed to do because once they join the church, they can't do any of that anymore because they live in homes without electricity. They don't have running water necessarily, but they might have a pump. Sometimes people will have a pump in the kitchen. That's what they consider running water. They still have the outhouses. And I'm telling you what, you go to one of those houses, they are spick and span, and they do it without vacuum cleaners, all the modern appliances we use today. They don't have that kind of thing. And some of them have like gas lights, or they may have a gas powered um, refrigerator because they're not allowed to have electric in their house. And I don't think they're allowed to have it in the barn either. And then when they farm, they use the horses. And for their transportation, they use horse and buggy. So that was an everyday thing for us growing up and seeing them going with the horse and buggies and everything. So um, during the Rumspringa, we would like have little parties, and they would come to our little parties and hang out with us and, you know, have a drink and have fun and because we knew them. We knew them from the time we were in first grade, all the way up to the sixth or seventh grade, or some of them the eighth grade, and you get to be good friends. And it's kind of sad that they don't get to go more, but then again, their life, they have a beautiful life. Usually their farms are beautiful. They have a lot of kids. It's a very simple life. But I could see being very content in that life. I kind of think sometimes they have it better off than we do. But that's my opinion. So let me know if you'd like to hear more about it because I have some funny stories of some of the things that happened, and or I can tell you some more about them. I don't want to make the video too long. But yeah, I grew up with the Amish, and it was every day for me, but a lot of people are fascinated by it, and they are very interesting. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget that little notification bell so you don't miss my next video. And remember to be kind to someone. Doesn't take a moment and it doesn't cost you a thing. Bye now, friends.